Indoor bowls doesn't have too much international competition, but this is one of them. It's Australia playing New Zealand for the Henselite Trophy. The Pukekohe Cosmopolitan Club is the venue for the competition this year. And the match we're going to bring you now is the mixed pair. Mixed pair six bowl, in fact, they call it. Australia against New Zealand. This is the Australian lead, Cassie Walsh. She teams with Simon Zaporozek in the Australian team against Julie and Simon Thomas. There's Zaporozek. And Julie Thomas leading for her husband Simon, who is the skip of the New Zealand pair. That's Simon Thomas.
Trying.
Barry Hamilton joins me in commentary for this mixed pairs match, which should be quite interesting.
Very interesting. Two very experienced Canterbury players in the Thomases. And I think we can look forward to a pretty good match here this afternoon.
Well, both of the Australians played in the mixed four and were extremely successful there. They went down by a couple of shots in the end, but Simon Zaporozek in particular, really impressed with the accuracy of his draw bowls. He was really impressive bowler.
It's quite interesting that both the Australians are from Tasmania, where the sport seems to be very strong. And as you just said, they both put up very good performances this morning.
Australia play with the gold bowls, New Zealand with the black. 3 bowls each. And Australia have shot. And perhaps a measure for 2. It's a little hard to show from that angle, but I don't think so. Australia shot as Simon Thomas sends one just a little short.
Yes, for the New Zealanders, the weight of these mats are quite different to the mats that we normally play on, and you'll see a lot of heads with a few short bowls. The Australians play on this type of mat, or a slightly longer mat, I understand, so probably slightly more familiar with the draw side of the game.
Yes, the manufacturer of the mat makes an awful lot of difference. There I go. Simon and his draw bowls. Look at that. Draws second shot. Now this is the other Simon, Simon Thomas of New Zealand from Canterbury. Didn't quite get the touch on that New Zealand bowl that's left there, the black bowl. The idea was to advance that as well. So the Australians have a wee chat about things. They hold 2. So the idea is to come in that gap there, is it? Or are we coming in this side? They're just checking which hand they want to do it on. Just to spring that New Zealand bowl out of the way, the front one. Which could give them 3, perhaps even 4. Zaporozek. Now, he hasn't done himself any huge favours there, I don't think. In fact, it might have cost him a shot.
Yes, Simon has only to turn that ball over and he should get one shot.
So his aim here will be to advance that lead bowl or to draw around it. He didn't quite have the weight on it, eh? So Australia will open this match With one, they take out one. Yes, one to Australia to get us underway. And Australia take the early lead. Simon Thomas marks it down on his scorecard. One to Australia. It could have been a little bit worse.
It's interesting, most of the Australians adopt a stand-up and bowl. Although I see some of them this morning were playing their draw shots, kneeling and standing up for the run shots.
So an error there from Cassie Walsh has given New Zealand the advantage of determining the length of this end. Yes, the Australians are used to playing with slightly larger bowls on a slightly longer mat. So they traditionally bowl standing up, or at least in a much more upright position than the New Zealanders, who are used to playing with slightly smaller bowls on an ever so slightly smaller mat, and have traditionally bowled crouching or kneeling. Cassie Walsh, as you can see with her delivery, starts crouched and then rises for the delivery. Seems to work. Julie Thomas. Just looking to shoot that little gap there. Didn't quite have the green.
The yellow bowls are a fairly recent innovation and certainly adds a little bit of colour to the game. Makes the job of measuring considerably easier than with a black or brown bowl.
Certainly makes the spectator's job easier.
Yes.
Cassie playing with weight on her last bowl. Didn't quite get the result she wanted. So now Julie Thomas going down the same hand, looking for much the same. She's gone too far. She's got a catcher, but it's back a little bit further than I suspect her initial plan was. So the two skips, the two Simons, Zaporozek and Thomas. They've surveyed the head. They have 3 bowls each to deliver. Slightly tentative bowl that from Zaporozek. Thomas. Needs quite a lot of green on that hand to get around that lead or that front Australian bowl. But on this heavy mat, it does take a fairly late hook.
Yes, and as the hook bites in, so the bowl slows down quite much quicker than what we're used to.
Right, they've agreed the tactics. Now for the execution. Ooh, very nearly. Very nearly. New Zealand still hold 1 and have the advantage of the last bowl on the end. So Simon Thomas can set himself up with this one. Coming to rest on those yellow bowls.
Lovely bowl.
Good stuff. So New Zealand now hold 2. But Australia have those 2 back bowls, so if we can shift the kitty even a little bit, he'll be in good shape.
Yes, Simon played some very good bowls. It's 3 in the fours this morning.
Interesting stance. Front on when he's delivering on the backhand. Side on the forehand. Now this has sprung the jack exactly what he wanted.
Lovely ball.
Just perfect. So Australia now hold 1, probably 2 actually.
Yes, I think there's definitely 2 browns there.
However, the opening is there on the same hand for Simon Thomas, and on the other hand as well. And he's chosen the forehand. Ooh, nearly, ever so nearly. So let's have a look and see what they pull out here, but I think that'll be 2 to Australia. And we'll just wait for the official count on that, but I'm pretty sure it was 2.
Yes,
Simon Thomas sticks his scorecard back in his pocket, so whatever it is, he's marked it.
Yeah, 2.
So the Australians off to the better start after 2 ends. They lead by 3-0. They've called for a long end for end number 3. Julie Thomas, short and narrow. Just didn't look confident out of the hand, that. Cassie Walsh, she probably has a slight advantage over the, or both of these Australians over the Thomases actually, in that they've played a match on this mat already today. And neither Julie nor Simon have. Their morning match was on one of the other mats, and the mats are different, each one's different.
Yeah, much better ball there from Julie.
Simon's happy. Cassie Walsh then with her last bowl. Nearly. So Julie Skip wants her bowl just past the jack on the centre line. Round and about there, Julie, just roll over a little bit more. Not quite. Not quite. So that's the leads. This is the mixed pair 6 bowl in the Henselite Trophy. That's 3 bowls each. There's also a mixed pair 8 bowl. But they're playing over on mat 3 right at the moment. Simon Zaporizek just a little bit long with his first bowl. So that opens the door for Simon Thomas to increase the New Zealand lead.
Yes,
could well have.
Quite a good ball there.
Right, now the Australian options without a back bowl are a little bit limited here, because it's almost certain that that jack's going to move somewhere. Cassie's saying down by my foot here is more likely. So he might stick in a back bowl here. No, he's going to try and move it now. general agreement in the New Zealand team as to what they're required to do.
They appear to be holding 2 shots there, so they're in a very good position.
With only 1 bowl left, Australia's options are limited here. They need to make the jack come backwards. That'll be a challenge.
The other interesting aspect for the Kiwis is a killed end is replayed, and you pay a penalty depending which bowl it is.
And with as many bowls as there are on the mat at the moment, it would be a high penalty for Australia right here.
Penalty.
Right, New Zealand now definitely hold 2, probably 3.
Definitely got 3 there, I would think.
Oh, yes, certainly got 3. Now the question here is, can they draw 4?
Simon's a very capable bowler, and I'll be surprised if he doesn't get the 4th.
He's just got to come round in front of that front yellow bowl. He's done that.
Yes.
Yes, well, certainly 3. Let's have a look and see what they take out here. 1, 2, I think it's going to be a measure for the 4th. 3 measure for 4. Or has she given away 4? I'm not sure there. I've got a feeling it was 4. New Zealand calling for a very, very short end. Julie Thomas. That'll do for starters. New Zealand ahead by 4-3 after 3 ends of the mixed pairs. Mixed pair 6 bowl. Cassie Walsh with her first bowl. You can't overestimate the importance of the lead in this form of bowls.
Yes, a very good bowl there from Julie.
And New Zealand have 1 back bowl and 1 on the jack. Australia have 1 on the jack. And now 2 on the jack. All very nearly, only missed by 1/4 of the width of the bowl there, trailing the jack. Back to all of those. Didn't quite happen. So Cassie has 1 more. And she goes back to join the fence that's at the back there. Simon Thomas, the New Zealand skip. He'll be wanting to trail that jack down there, but that'll do for starters.
Good ball.
Zaporozhek, a very accurate draw bowler with his front-on stance on the backhand. That was option B. Option 1 was to actually pick up the jack and take it with it.
Yes, the bowls finished in quite a good position with 2 bowls to come.
Thomas then will go and join that group of back bowls. And that's not a bad plan. New Zealand with back bowls either side of the centre line now. Missed it again. New Zealand holding shot. But the jack's very, I guess vulnerable is the word out there. So he'd like to kind of rest this just in behind.
Lovely bowl there.
Like that. Now, let's have a close look at this, because I'm not sure that the Australians' only option here is to draw it. I think he's got to draw right up to the shot bowl. So New Zealand ahead by 4-3. This is the last bowl of the fourth end of the mixed pair. And now, has he done more damage or less? 1, 2, 3 to New Zealand. 1. Let's see.
3, could be 4.
Well, 2. 3's got to be, surely. 3. Yeah. Now what? She's given away 4, I suspect. So, 2 great ends for New Zealand. Terrific stuff. They pick up 4 on the fourth end and 8-3. They lead Australia after 4.
Simon Thomas allows himself a quiet smile there. He should be very happy after 2 very good ends here.
Yeah, well, he's bowled nice and accurately himself. And there's a terrific lead from his wife. Don't take too much notice of that scoreboard in the background. It hasn't been updated yet.
Head starting to build in New Zealand's favour. If Julie can get her 3rd shot there, they'll have a very good situation.
She'll be looking to leave this to the left as we look at it, of the jack, and preferably a little behind it. That'll do though. Walsh then with her last bowl on end number 5. Playing a little bit of weight. Yes, well played. So that somewhat changes the complexions of things as the skips and the leads change ends. Oh,
top ball.
Lovely bowls.
Top ball.
New Zealand holding 2 shots.
The New Zealand pair appear to be coming to grips with the mat much quicker than the Australian pair.
Simon Thomas taking a wide line and hooking in to the jack. That's another good bowl from Simon Thomas. So it's certainly 2 to New Zealand, could be 3.
There's no easy options for Australia. They're getting a little bit desperate here. They can't really afford to drop another 3.
Well, the problem they've got here is all of their bowls are in front of the kitty. Right, so he's reduced the count to probably 2 now. 1 to New Zealand for sure, measure for 2 I'd say. Now Simon Thomas here may well be looking to come in from the bottom of the screen there through that gap that his wife's indicating to him and perhaps push everything ahead or indeed come round the wing bowl and sit behind the kitty. Let's see, it's his last chance.
He's playing with enough confidence to draw another bowl in there.
He's narrow on that, but he might advance. No, he won't. But what that yellow bowl falling over may just have blocked Australia's options of getting in there, so they're going to have to plant on those yellow bowls that are already there and try and advance the closest one even closer. Bang, bang, bang.
Yes, it's made very difficult for the skip with no bowls behind the kitty.
Last bowl of the 5th end, 8-3, New Zealand lead after 4. Now he's running it and didn't quite get the advance. I'd say it's probably New Zealand 2. Let's have a look. New Zealand 1, 2. Yes, it'll move. And that's all. 2 to New Zealand. So they take a very handy lead after 5 ends, 10-3. Very short end again for New Zealand. Seems to be the tactic. They like it shorter.
Yes, a very good lead bowl from Julie.
So 1 on the jack, 1 in behind. Good lead.
Draw it in. Draw him in, then. Turning that one down's fine. No, don't. Play, sorry. Play there. Through the... Draw him across, sitting that one down, that's fine. Sitting the split.
Nice.
Yes, 3 good lead bowls. New Zealand definitely getting on top as far as the 2 leads are concerned.
Play there. Sit him down. Get him through there's fine. Straight through to here.
Calling for a back bowl. She's narrow. Well, that wasn't the plan, but I'll take it.
Good result.
Amazing how things change once the bowls start moving on the head. Any sort of collision at all. He's dead-eye Dick today, isn't he, Simon Thomas?
Simon's playing very well, and all his years of experience is starting to show through here today.
Yeah, great bowl. Well done.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
Still got it. Hold it back. Not a bad time there.
Needs the kitty. Got the kitty.
Yes,
That's
extremely
great
good ball.
bowls. However, there's still room there for Simon Saporazek to draw shot, and if he nudges the black bowl out of the way, he could well draw 3. Right, well, he's not playing it with enough weight for that. In fact, he's short. In fact, he'll be very disappointed with that, I would imagine. So New Zealand score 1 on the 6th end. They've now scored on the last 4 ends, and they lead Australia by 11 to 3 after a 6 of 21 ends. First bowl of end number 7. New Zealand ahead 11-3. Julie Thomas with her lead.
Julie's settling into a very good rhythm and is definitely playing the better lead bowls.
She's just got those bowls going down the groove, hasn't she?
Extremely good bowling.
Again, the scoreboard in the background there has not been updated since the last end. New Zealand have added 1 to that, 11 to 3.
Good ball by Caroline to grab the initiative.
Split there, they're both opening out. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. squid.
It's not a bad first 4 bowls, is it?
Yes, extremely good bowling by both of them.
Shot.
Now playing with a little bit of weight here
Bowl.
for just that reason. Good result. And again, the complexion of the head changes.
Yellow. Get that through, he's fine. Taking that out.
So she's going to aim for the gap there. Push the black bowl out of the way and leave hers resting shot. That's the theory. And she's looking like she's pretty close. Just not enough weight. So the skips come down to bowl there, 3. Simon Thomas first. And he is playing very accurately indeed. So as the head changes again, Simon Zaporozek comes down. See what his plans might be. He's going to shoot the gap, I think.
Yes, I think that's where he'll be heading for.
Maybe not, he's coming on the backhand.
Yeah, bowls up.
Well played.
Seems to favour, I think, in a misspent youth, I think Simon might have played a bit of snooker or something like that, because he seems to favour those cannon shots. Oh, look at that. Perfect.
Yes, the big boy from Canterbury knows how to play bowls.
That's Simon Thomas. The skip, his wife Julie, is his lead. This is Simon Zaporozek of Tasmania, representing Australia. Cassie Walsh is his lead. And that doesn't look too bad at all. Right, so anything you can do, I can do better. Australia look like they hold one now. But there is room for Simon here to draw it around. Will it go round?
Very close.
Not quite.
One brown, one yellow.
So still Australia's shot. They have another bowl. If we could somehow move 2 of those New Zealand bowls, he'd score about 100, but that's not going to happen.
Difficult shot. Very easy to push the New Zealand bowl in if he's not.
Yes, yes. He's looking to rest in there. He'll just have enough mat to play that shot. The other alternative is to say, crikey, we're 11-3 down, let's just take 1 and wander off and start all over again.
That's what I would be thinking about, but yes, he's going on the backhand.
Extremely accurate player. I don't think he had the thought of tossing his bowl away wouldn't actually occur to Simon. He's not going to get around that front one. So Australia will score 1 on end number 7 and break their drought. That's the first shot they've scored since the second end. So onto his scorecard. It goes 11-4 after 7 ends. And Australia call for a long end. Very long. Maximum. Interesting. The Aussies are playing the long ends. The New Zealanders seem to be preferring the shorter end. Great lead.
Long in now, so let's think about it.
Julie Thomas then. Bowl must be delivered from inside that box. Go over the front line.
Go down. Good try.
It doesn't seem to matter much to Julie whether it's a long end or a short one. She's got some sort of a radar and it hones in on the jack.
Yep.
Cassie, good bowls.
Finishing on that back bowl will be good.
Casey definitely seemed to prefer the longer ends. She gets much better results than on the short ends.
I think you got the legs up and that's pretty good.
Gee, that pulled up in a hurry. I thought that was looking like a back bowl all the way, but it just stopped on her out there on the backhand wing.
I think behind, touch of him's fine.
Yes, the mats are quite different to the New Zealand mats. They're probably, in the old terms, about a good half-inch thick and rather dead compared with the New Zealand mats.
All right, let's talk about that for a little, shall we, Barry? The thicker the mat, the slower it plays. Would that be right?
Yes, and it's very noticeable with these mats. You need to put a lot more power, almost playing small run shots to get the full length of the mat.
That's a good one.
Yes, well played.
So that's the leads. That's the way they've left the head, with Australia holding shot and Australia with the back bowl. So the thinking here is to come in one of those gaps, probably that one nearest to us, even come off the black bowl and move that even further away and end up with a yellow in there somewhere.
Yes, there's obviously two options there. Just come down inside the black on the left as you come down the mat, or hit the outside yellow and turn the middle yellow onto the kitty.
They're trying also to predict a little bit what the opposition might be going to do.
Yes, that's quite important to have a jolly good look at.
So we're going for the turning over option, and that just puts another block in the way as well, so Australia was shot.
I'll play with enough weight to go through to that back one.
The New Zealanders then. He's playing very well indeed, is Simon Thomas. Two very accurate bowlers, these skips. They're going to bash heads for all 21 ends by the look of things.
Well, Simon's just a man to do that. That's the Canterbury Simon. He's well known for a fairly handy run shot.
Two Simons. This is the Tassie Simon. Simon's a Porazak. Now again looking to advance. Well, he'll knock the New Zealand one out. That's probably just about as good actually. So the Thomases study the head. Make a quick decision. The benefit of the final bowl as well, which can be very, very important. What he'll want to do with this one is limit Australia's options for their last shot.
Grab that when you got a perla. That's a great
And he just wanted to turn inside that. He did. Good shot. It may be second shot. In any event, it's a damn good catcher.
Yes, quite a strong position here.
Australia's best option may be to advance that front bowl of theirs.
Yeah, so he's cheeky enough with a little bit of weight on the short yellow. He should be able to turn that into the head.
He's gone the other hand, so he's looking at the New Zealand bowl then perhaps. See if he can clean shot bowl out. He's playing with a fraction of weight onto the lead. Didn't do any good. Right, certainly one to New Zealand. Is there enough room to draw around that wing bowl and take two? Or are we just going to clean out some of the extraneous? Let's have a look. Last bowl then of the 8th end. New Zealand ahead 11-4. He's looking to come round, come round, come round. We'll leave it. Oh, well, most certainly. That's a handy topple. We'll take two.
Yes, very well done.
Now, let's see what they pull out of here. It'll be two for sure to New Zealand. And they're having a bit of a study, actually. This may not be over. What are we looking at? Perhaps it's closer, though. Perhaps that bowl that's at 6 o'clock as we're looking at it, the Australian one, is closer than we thought.
Yes, definitely one to New Zealand.
The calipers are coming out. Right, we'll clear the ones that don't matter out of the way.
A good shot of there, just showing you how the blacks tend to throw a shadow, which makes it slightly difficult when you're measuring. New yellow bowls are excellent to run a pair of calipers down the side and just see what is what.
Yes, I heard you say earlier that it makes measuring easy, and I did wonder what you were talking about. Now that's the bowl she's just measured that I'm absolutely sure is the shot bowl, or I was up until now anyway. Now I'm not so certain. Did you call two then? So New Zealand certainly scored points. We'll have to wait until we see the scoreboard click over to see how many. Now I'm sure that Simon Thomas has probably altered the scoreboard down at his end already, as his wife delivers just an absolutely perfect lead.
Yes, leading extremely well.
So New Zealand did score one in that last end. As these leads do a bit of a battle. This is the 9th end of 21. We're playing in number 9. 12-4 after 8 to New Zealand. This is the mixed pair 6 bowl, 3 each. A couple of mats older, the mixed pair 8 bowl is going on. Because this Henselite Trophy is played between New Zealand and Australia. Teams of 14 bowlers, women's 4, men's 4, mixed 4, triples, pairs and singles. So there's a lot of bowls spread over 3 days, and each match scores points for the winner, and at the end of the 3 days they add it up. Everybody plays each other in each discipline 3 times, and they add up all the points, and the winner takes away the trophy. And I can tell you that New Zealand has won the Henselite Trophy many more times than Australia over the years since it was first played for in 1975, and in fact New Zealand have won the last 8 in a row. So it's very much New Zealand's trophy. The last time Australia won it was in Christchurch in 1991. They play it every 2 years, and I'm never sure whether 2 years means it's biennial or biennial. but they play it every 2 years anyway. Looking for that hit bowl, knocks everything out the back end. That changes the whole complexion of the game, opens it up. We start all over again, basically.
Yes, he plays those shots very well just to get the kitty off the ball.
There's just enough mat there for Simon to get around and draw somewhere near and put a bit of a block in, actually. Now, t'other Simon comes and has a wee shufty and says, what are my options here? Julie whispers out the corner of her mouth, says, you haven't got many.
No, Julie Thomas is probably the dominant player of these four, the way she's setting the heads up for her husband Simon.
And he's not hesitating to convert the opportunities either.
Yes, no, they're performing very well as a team.
Right, he hasn't got enough green here, so that's advanced New Zealand to take shot quite comfortably. And he's trying to...
Played with a lot of confidence, well done.
And that's probably 2 to New Zealand, yep. It's half a chance of 3 too, actually.
It's very close. It surprises me that the Australians don't play 1 or 2 more little run shots. They seem to persist with drawing, which is not always working on these heavier mats.
Yeah, looking to advance that front bowl, didn't do so. Probably saved a shot though. Maybe not. 1 is out, and we need the long measure for this. It's always the way, isn't it? The big measuring stick's down the other end. Big measuring stick might not be big enough. We'll go and get a bigger one.
Never mind, there's no time limit in these games, which seem to be taking about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it must be an optical illusion, because from where I'm looking at it, the black bowl looks considerably closer than the yellow one, but that camera, the overhead camera, is not directly on top, so the optical illusion could well be there, but from this angle, that black one looks considerably closer.
I just wonder why they're measuring, but as you say, the camera is rather off the edge of the mat.
So there we are. That's the one she thinks is probably closest. And it is by a long chalk. So New Zealand scores 2 on end number 9. And they've opened up a real handy lead now. They lead by 10 after 9 ends, 14 to 4. And don't tell me it's not over. I've written down 2. You can't have 3, I'm afraid. We're measuring for 3rd shot now. Surely not. No. So I was right the first time. Just. So New Zealand 2 on the 9th end. 14-4. It's a very handy lead.
Yes, the New Zealand pair have settled down and are both playing very good bowls. With 10 points up, they're going to take a power of catching, I feel.
And they've gone for the short end again.
they're certainly getting much better position with the shorter ends. The longer ends are just stretched out. The extra push required to reach the end of the mat is quite considerable.
The shorter ends too, I think the jack tends to move more, so
Yes.
the back bowls like Julie has just delivered and like Cassie is delivering now become much more important. But just in case you need it, you might as well have a toucher. No, unlike outdoor bowls, in indoor the toucher doesn't count for anything other than the fact that it's a very good bowl. But if the head is killed, or it's knocked off the mat, it's just off the mat. So that's why you don't see the marker chalking it. Oh, another good one. I think we go and check this mat, because I think Julie's gone up and scratched a groove in it, and she's just running the bowls down the groove.
Well, she certainly dropped into a very nice rhythm and is starting to dominate the game.
Mind you, she's finding some competition here from Cassie Walsh. That's a nice looking head for the skips to come down and add their 3 bowls to. Simon Thomas just quietly draws one right to the jack. They make this game look very easy, don't they, these guys?
Yes, very professional. The floor itself is quite interesting. It's a chipboard, particle board floor with extra floor joists underneath to give it a very good level surface. Not very old, probably 3 or 4 years old, and the whole floor, which we can get 30 conventional mats on, plays very nicely.
Barry Hamilton joining me in commentary on this mixed pairs 6-bowl match from the Pukekohe Cosmopolitan Club. Chipboard floor, does the actual surface, what the timber is, or concrete or whatever, make any difference?
Concrete underneath, and then timber on top, and then the particle chipboard on top of the timber.
But the floor that the mat is sitting on, does it make any difference to the way the mat plays?
Well, the main thing is that the floor is level.
Sure.
Many of the older floors tend to sag a wee bit with
Sag a bit?
time.
Don't we all?
But this would be as good a surface as you can get. Just adjacent to the indoor rink, we've got an outdoor rink, which is indoors, and that gets extensively used through the winter months.
Yes, over the back there, the far end of the bowls mat there, the other side of the camera at the other end, you can just see a little square of green. That's actually an outdoor bowling rink, undercover, indoors if you will. And there's a couple of outdoor rinks outside. 10-pin bowling over the back.
The outdoor rink that's inside can be used for indoor bowls and will be used next month for the men's Cosmopolitan National Championships. So there'll be 90 indoor bowling mats down in the complex.
Wow.
And they all play pretty well.
90. So they just they lay the indoor bowling mat on top of the
No,
surface?
they lift the carpet off first, and under the carpet there is thick sponge, foam rubber. It's rolled up in about 1 metre wide rolls. Half a day, it'll all be up. And about a little over half a day to put it all back down. But it gives us the opportunity to put 90 indoor bowling mats down, which makes it a very good complex.
Remarkable complex out here at Pukekohe, the Cosmopolitan Club. Now, 1 bowl left to deliver on this 10th end. Let's pay attention. New Zealand have shot, but it's well spread, and Simon Zaporozek could well draw 3 shots if he comes on the backhand here and does it right. Or if he trails the jack, nudges the New Zealand shot bowl on the way past, Brings them all in here, plays with a bit of weight. Oh, just like that. 1, 2, 3.
Very well done.
Excellent bowling from Simon Zaparacek. And he stops a little bit of a rot. They take 3 and halve the problem. So after 10 ends, New Zealand lead by 14 to 7. And in about 6 bowls time, we'll be halfway through this match. 21 end match. 10 ends completed. Australia through Cassie Walsh leading. Great excitement in the mat next door, which is where the men's triples are being played. Oh, she's done it again.
Yes, she's playing very consistent bowls.
There's a magnet in that kitty. Not to be outdone. Walsh drops in on top.
Yes, very good effort.
Dear me. She's not done this very often. Come up and inspected the head.
Yes, it's a fairly crucial stage of the game. They must score again on 1 or 2 ends at least to get anywhere near the New Zealanders.
14-7, New Zealanders ahead. Australia have just scored a 3. Another 3 now would be ever so handy. What they don't want to happen is for New Zealand to get a big score. They don't really want New Zealand to score anything, but if anything, I'd rather they advanced in ones for a little bit.
Yes, New Zealand have got the luxury of being able to endeavour to keep the Australians down to 1, or to even score 1 themselves.
That'll do. So the skips come down, and this is the way the head has been left. It's a long head, as you can see. Australia holds shot. New Zealand bowls grouped all the way around the kitty. Just looking to come off that New Zealand bowl. Not that one, the other one. Simon Thomas then, coming on the other hand, looking to edge off that Australian bowl. Oh, that'll do.
Well done.
Gee, we are seeing some accurate pinpoint bowls. So you can see what they're thinking of doing. He's got to get round that front New Zealand bowl right in front of him there, and ideally disturb the back bowl, the one that's at 8 o'clock as we're looking at it, and then leave his right where it is without shifting the kitty too far.
Yes, he needs to be just a little bit careful. Very easy to pop his own yellow bowl out of the head. Let's
see what he's planning. He's coming on the forehand though, so all that idea that we had is completely wrong. So he's going to advance one bowl, and
It's all right.
by no enormous difference to the head around the kitty. So whatever Simon's plan was, Simon Thomas of New Zealand that is, before that shot, it probably hasn't changed.
Yeah, I would think he would come on the forehand, the idea of pushing the yellow ball out.
So play with weight against his own bowl. No, didn't quite work. Not happy. That's what I think. Through that gap. All the very best. Very difficult shot here that Zaporozhek is attempting. He'll need a little bit of luck and a heck of a lot more skill than luck. He's narrow. Right, so we're looking at Australia 1. So the options for New Zealand, perhaps to play with weight against that front bowl of their own, knock out the Australian bowl. He's playing with a little bit of weight. Looks like that's what he's trying to do. He's narrow again. So Australia 1 on the 11th end. That's a good result for New Zealand.
Yes, or just as we were discussing before, one shot at this stage of the game they can well afford to drop. Not really worthwhile risking your arm to do anything rash. Pressure's on Australia to chance their arm a wee bit.
Skips mark their card. Simon Thomas alters the scoreboard and it reads now 14-8. New Zealand ahead after 11 ends by 14-8. Australia, who scored the points on that end, get to nominate the length of the head by bowling the kitty down. They've gone reasonably long, and the first lead bowl from Cassie Walsh is a good one, as is the response from her opponent, Julie Thomas.
No, as I've said before, she's playing outstanding lead bowls.
Day one of the Henselite Trophy. This is a Trans-Tasman Test match between New Zealand and Australia. Who else would it be if it's Trans-Tasman? This is the mixed pair, 6-bowl. New Zealand represented by Julie Thomas, that's her, and her skip, her husband Simon Thomas. And that's him. Or at least that was the back of his head. And Australia represented by Cassie Walsh. That's her there, leading for Simon Zaporozhek. They're both Tasmanians. The New Zealanders both from Canterbury. Just a little bit of interest in the way things pan out.
Well, the New Zealand selectors would be fairly happy with their selections so far. We've only had one complete round this morning, of course, and we're into the second round now. But New Zealand won all their games except the 2 singles games we lost. So they won 3 out of the 5, which was a very good start.
On the television mat here, we had the mixed 4. Very, very good match it was. 18 ends. New Zealand scored 1 on the last end to win it by 19-17. There was some terrific bowls played. Both of these Australians who are playing in this match played in that one. Simon Zaporozhek here was probably the star bowler of the game. He played at number 3 for New Zealand with bowls like that just about every end. Cassie Walsh here, led for the Australian mixed four. Having a wee study of things. Simon Thomas, meanwhile, played in the men's four in the early round. And Julie in the women's four. So they've all had a game in a different format or a different discipline to that they're bowling now. Gee whiz. So there could be a three-way tie here. They could all be touching. Well, there's a lot of finger waving going on there as Simon tried to work out the angles of approach, where if he made connection, things were liable to end up. And indeed, what Simon Thomas's options might be with his last bowl. So here's Australia's. He's dived in behind.
Yes, I think he will simply cover that backhand side of the mat. Yes, good position there.
If the jack moves at all, it's more than likely to go to what is the top of that shot there. On the backhand, Australia playing narrow, playing with a bit of weight. Didn't get past that front bowl.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what happens here. New Zealand could well be holding at least one shot.
Well, they're all very, very tightly gathered around the jack. This might come into the contention as well, just quietly. Right, so let's see what they pick out here. Everything came out in a rush. I'm picking that probably means it was one. Probably to New Zealand. We'll wait for Simon to change the scoreboard to absolutely make sure, but the numbers have gone in the board, or in the book, for the 12th end. And there is Julie's accurate as always lead bowl. Well, in fact, they scored two on that end, New Zealand, so they've advanced to 16 to 8. I've got a funny feeling they may have had 3 touches on that.
Yes, it looked like they were very, very close.
Two New Zealand, 1 Australia.
It amazed me Australia didn't actually upset or bump the head to change things around a wee bit.
Yeah, well, it would have only needed a little bump, that's for sure. These two Australian players are actually relatively inexperienced at international level. Very experienced nationally and in their state championships and what have you, but both are making their first appearance in this Trans-Tasman competition. Maybe we saw in that end the little bit of inexperience coming through by not giving the head a little bit of a nudge. Don't know.
Well, Simon Thomas, of course, has represented New Zealand 3 times, and he is a very confident and very experienced player, and it's starting to show through here.
I'll tell you what, his wife's giving him plenty of bullets to fire. Her leading is wonderful.
Yes, be quite an interesting household to live in with two bowlers of such class.
Yeah, I suppose they've got little white lines up and down the hallway, have they? Cassie Walsh wanders down the other end. Her partner, Simon Zaparazek, swaps places with her, but this is Simon Thomas just quietly planting his first one on the jack.
Yes, it just gives a skip so much more confidence when he's getting the position that he's getting from his wife, and they're performing extremely well as a team.
Now the Australians wondering what to do. Probably shift that shot bowl would be a good option.
Once again, he needs to get it out of there. Not easy to get it out the right way, very easy to go the wrong way.
Well, he's going on the backhand. Just going to... Very nearly got what he wanted. He's moved one out of the way and opened things up again. So I think we might see Simon Thomas just come down the forehand and block that hole again now.
Yes, he's got a good opportunity to tuck it in for 3 or 4. Just
Yeah,
like
just
so.
like that?
Yes. No, playing with a lot of confidence there.
I'll just remind you of the score. We've played 12 ends. This is the 13th. New Zealand are ahead by 16 to 8. They play 21 ends. And New Zealand are holding probably 4 on this end at the moment. There's a little way to go on that though. Now we're playing with weight. New Zealand now holding 1. Good result for Australia. Simon Zaparazek. So the expert on the draw just comes in and sees if he can draw another shot. He hasn't quite got the legs. So New Zealand still holding 1. Ooh, wasn't quite the plan, I don't think, by that expression. Off that, onto that. We score
Yes,
3. That's the answer.
That's the way they've got to go. His last shot was a well-weighted shot, got a very good result, and there's no reason why he couldn't do the same here.
So looking for the in-off. No, he's got the wrong side of the black bowl. So New Zealand score 1. And they're just having a wee look for 2 perhaps, but surely not. No. New Zealand score 1 on the 13th end. And they advance their lead then to 17 to 8. And the Kiwis again going for a slightly shorter end, no better than mid-range anyway. They've avoided the long ends all the way along. And why wouldn't you, when your lead can do that?
That length is suiting them right down to the ground. And the Australian skip is not attacking the head, some of the heads as he should be, I feel. You say, why would they want to change the length of the head? They're getting very good results.
Walsh slightly under. Still a good bowl. Thomas. Slightly bang on.
Beautiful ball. both teams have had intensive practice over the last 3 days, so they should be all in very fine fettle. And certainly the bowls we're seeing in this game are of a very high standard.
Yep, that's just it.
It's nice too.
Throwing there, then finishing behind the arrow. Under that.
This is 6 bowl pairs, so each player gets 3, and that's Julie Thomas's last.
Yeah.
And that quietly rests in there as well. Clap from her
Top
husband.
bowling, yes.
That's not a bad 3, is it? That's good grouping.
Makes his job very easy with a lead like that.
So he wants her to play against that, what in that shot is the bottom of the black bowls. The right hand one as she's looking at it, with a little bit of weight, and it'll spring them all out. That's the theory.
Should ram the kitty through the 2 bowls.
She's not quite got enough green. Simon Thomas now, who I'm picking, will look to lock the kitty up inside a clover leaf. Oh, he's going to take the yellow bowl out first. Okay. So New Zealand 3.
Yes, he wasn't overly happy with that shot. I think he was, as you said, endeavouring to just tidy the head up.
Right, well, by the hand actions there, this is going to be an explosion shot.
Must hit it. He's got no options.
There's going to be bowls going all over the place. So he hits the lead. No, he...
Well,
that's
he's
interesting.
probably his second shot, but at least he's got Kitty out of that nasty position it was in from his point of view. Simon Thomas is playing very good draw balls.
On the forehand, Simon Zaparazek, skip for Australia, looking to come off that New Zealand bowl, give it a kiss on the way through, didn't quite. So there's a simple answer here. New Zealand trails the jack off the backhand, they score plenty. Australia trail the jack off the forehand, they score plenty. New Zealand get the first option.
Wow, that's a bit of a turnaround.
He's going to come on the same hand.
His only option is to dead draw.
Well, he's perfectly capable of it. We've seen him do that already today on more than one occasion. Well, he's limited the damage to 3. So New Zealand will probably be 3 anyway. 1, 2 surely to the left. 2, I'm going to say that's 3.
I think you can safely say that's 3.
They just seem to take longer about looking at it than I do, that's all. Barry, it's the only reason I just hesitate a little. I'm going to give them 3.
Yes.
And stand by to be corrected.
Some of our camera shots are a little deceptive.
So after 14 ends now, New Zealand lead by 20-8. And Julie Thomas just continues to do it. Pretty.
Yes. Well done to draw the shot right off the other ball.
down. Good shot. Good.
Even prettier.
There's the answer.
He makes me laugh, Simon Thomas. You see him standing there scratching his head after every one of his wife's shots saying, crikey, how do I follow that up? And then he turns around and does. Oh, now we're seeing. Now it's getting the...
Finishing on. Aiming to finish.
It's like a duel, isn't it?
Roll through, that's good.
Righto, Julie, your shot.
Good.
Like that, you mean? That's what I mean.
Well, we've had a good exhibition of how lead bowls should be played, and certainly gives the skips an armchair ride when you're bowling as well as Julie Thomas is.
Well, Cassie Walsh here is bowling very well indeed. And so too is her skip, and yet they're down by 20 to 8.
Yes, I think many of those points could be put down to
They've given away a couple of big ones. But
Julie's just playing extremely well, and that burst they had early on of a 4, 4, 2 and a 1 really set the game up. And it's just a matter of the Australians endeavouring to catch up since then, but New Zealand have matched them bowl for bowl, in fact done just a little bit better, and find themselves in a very strong position heading on for 2/3 the way through the game.
well, we're developing a really tight head here on end number 15. It's in Australia's favour just at the moment. In fact, it's very nicely in Australia's favour just at the moment. This might take a bit of clever work from the New Zealanders to save.
Yes, I think he's aiming to come in there with just a little bit of weight, enough to turn both or at least one of the yellow bowls out and take the shot.
Once again, it's very easy from here.
There we go.
It's very easy from there too.
Yeah, well, it's bread and butter to a man like Simon.
And he
He's,
makes it look so easy, doesn't he? New Zealand holding 1, 2, 3, probably,
but with his
having been down 3.
lead bowls being played the way they are, it's giving him a ton of confidence, and he's responding to some pretty tight situations with a ton of confidence.
Mind you, you have to say this is international bowls. This is the creme de la creme.
Yes. It's been quite interesting this morning. Good turnout of spectators. They obviously appreciate the watching players at this calibre play.
Oh, it's beautiful to watch.
Yes.
It's beautiful to watch. That was Simon Zaparazek turning what was 3 down into 1 up. Mind you, having said that, Simon Thomas did exactly the same thing the bowl before. And if he can move the shot bowl, then the same question probably still applies. It'll change from 1 down to probably 2 up.
Yes, he's. I think they're looking at coming on the forehand. Oh no. Take that back.
Yeah, he's looking to. I don't think that was the plan. I think the plan was to come underneath those bowls.
Yes, replace the yellow bowl, but
And just shift that shot bowl out of harm's way. So Australia get a chance. They hold 1. Come down that same channel. Is there room to get down there? There's probably not, actually.
risky. I would be tempted to go on the forehand, and he's quite capable of drawing a second bowl there.
Australia, unless he makes an absolute pig's ear of this, Australia will score on this end. He'll score 1. He'll score 1. So Australia had another. And it's been a wee while since they did. So as Simon Thomas clicks it over, when he moves out of the way, the scoreboard will read 20-9 after 15 ends to New Zealand, and Australia go for the long end. They're at the maximum. So they're going long, New Zealand going short. New Zealand with a lead of 11. 6 ends to play. Skip's happy with that.
Yes,
So it
Carolyn's
should be.
certainly playing better bowls on the longer ends.
Well, the Battle of the Leads has been magnificent. I've really enjoyed it.
Yes, it's about as good as you'd see, all right.
Well, that's close to Julie Thomas's worst bowl.
Yes,
You know, it's a hand's breadth away from the jack.
Still there?
yes, good home there.
Going right to it. Bring some more in your lap. Go down. Good on.
And I'll just pop back here as well because it might be necessary. You might need it back there later.
Right.
Just a fraction narrow.
Drag it right through.
It's a bit light too. Yeah, you could see what she was looking to do. Julie Thomas.
Good on.
Very close.
Good on.
Well, that's all right. It's a long end. It's a fairly open head. Australia don't want to move that kitty too far, because if it goes too far, there's a couple of black bowls sort of hovering back there. So he's sent one to go and hover with them, has he? No, just trying to draw another shot.
Still plenty of room for Simon to bring the kitty out.
Right, he's after the shot bowl there. Gets it too. All right. Now, the complexion of this head changes yet again. What would you do here, Barry Hamilton, if you had the shot for Australia?
Yes, no, definitely he needs to come down the backhand side there.
Yep, well, he's playing backhand.
Yes, there's really no option, just a one shot there. He's got to try and replace that black bowl.
And he's going to do it by his favoured plant method.
May hold one there.
Yeah, I think he probably does. It's probably Australia 1. Simon Thomas playing with a little bit of weight, looking to advance that front New Zealand bowl. He did that, but not into shot. What do you want to do, Simon? I'm not sure, really.
The problem is he really needs more than one. The end's rapidly running out.
Yep.
2 or 3 is the minimum he requires. Yeah, much better ball.
Right, so Australia 1, probably 2.
It's still wide open for Simon to trail the jack back a wee bit.
Okay, he says. This is my kind of territory. Doesn't look bad. No, just a bit narrow. Oh, nearly. So Australia, probably, I think 2 on this one. We're all having a look-see. So there's 1 for sure.
Two. Yeah.
And they're just changing the scoreboard there, and it was 2 to Australia. So Australia go up to 11, 20 to 11 after 16 ends. And Australia again go for the long end. They're at the maximum. The kitty can be no further back than where it is there at the junction of the line and the box.
They're certainly performing much better with the longer heads.
Cassie Walsh with her second.
Who's your last one? Same weight?
Just wanted an ounce more oomph. That's her skip, Simon Zaparazek. Now Julie Thomas. She just wanted an inch more green. Nice.
Yes, good ball there.
Yep, still there. You're looking at getting that into the gap there. And through that, you need weight to the back here.
There's the target, he's saying.
It's a long way away, so you're not going to kill it, so don't be scared.
Come off the inside of the front of those 2 bowls. Yep, that's what I wanted.
Yes, they can afford to be a little bit aggressive with the lead they've got. Another good end or 2 in the game is pretty well wrapped up.
This is the 17th end of 21. The scoreboard reads New Zealand 20, Australia 11. Australia, though, want to keep nagging away, because if they take 2 on every end, they'll win it. So they don't need to have a magnificent miracle end. They can just nag away in pairs. 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. And they'll find themselves in the lead. So New Zealand need to do just a little more than rest on their laurels here.
Well, I think Mr. Thomas is just the man to do that. Here we go. He's not
That's
afraid
nice stuff,
to
isn't it?
play a little run shot and look at the result. Very well done.
Opening up for the draw, and the trail through will score 3. Didn't quite. Gee, how close was that?
Hold on.
Probably got shot though, has he? Yes, he has.
Yes, well,
Out of my way, please.
Great ball. Great ball, Al.
We're seeing some magnificent bowls in this mixed pair,
Great ball coming in
and
here.
there's just another one.
One down, sorry.
So Australia now hold shot probably, unless they're both touching, which they might be. So Simon Thomas with the last bowl of the 17th end. Looking to turn something close to a miracle. Yeah, no problem. No problem whatsoever. Well, Simon Thomas with an absolute miracle. One to New Zealand. Yes, one to New Zealand. 21-11 with 4 ends to play. Oh, yes, you can look fairly happy with yourself there, Simon, if you like, because
Yes,
that was a magnificently played end.
that was really a crunch end. The Australians had to score 2 or 3 probably to remain in with a chance. I don't think the Thomases are going to let them get any closer than what they are. Here we go again, bang on.
It's been a wonderful display of indoor bowls by 2 highly skilled pairs. And perhaps the best example of it was that last end.
Yes, it was nip and tuck. It changed hands 3 or 4 times along the way there.
Both the leads and the skips on that 17th end played some magnificent bowls. And the last 2 or 3 bowls from each of the skips were just wonderful stuff. Once again, we're seeing the Julie Thomas I've got a bowl on a railway line lead. And once again, we're seeing Cassie Walsh respond.
Same shot as last.
Oh,
Do you realise that's the first bowl that's gone off the mat in the entire game?
is that a whiskey?
Well,
Just a thought.
sounds like a good idea. No, we'll forgive her. She's played extremely well.
So perhaps gives a little bit of an edge to Australia here. One more bowl on the mat, one less black bowl in the way. So Cassie takes advantage and goes over the back.
With the 2 black bowls where they are, they're still going to take quite a bit of shifting to allow the Australians to score more than perhaps 1.
Simon Thomas.
But Simon has his tail right up and it's playing really good bowls.
Simon's a Parasek who played 2 or 3 magnificent bowls on the last end and got gazumped on each of them by his opposite number. That's not a bad one. New Zealand still probably holding 2, certainly 1. Marvellous.
Yes, making Australia's job very difficult.
Maybe purpose.
Oh, missed it completely. He was actually aiming for his own front bowl there.
Yes, he turned it into the head. This is where experience counts. In some of the games this morning, one or two of the shots that New Zealanders had to play they had to be absolutely spot on. They played them to perfection.
Bit of weight side. It's changed. Dead luck.
We're still there for Australia to turn that front brown in and maybe nudge Kitty back for a couple. Nothing to lose.
Sorry, straighten up the ball. I saw you there. Concentrate.
Australia down by 10 with 4 to play. Well, only 3 to play after this one. So looking to advance his own bowl. Does that. Takes one. Probably. Where did it finish up sitting?
Yes,
Looks like one, yeah. 1 to Australia. So Simon Thomas changes the scoreboard to read New Zealand 21, Australia 12. We've played 18 of the 21 ends, and Australia again go long. A long end for Australia, the 19th end. They need to get a big one. On this end, they need to score, if they're going to come back into this game, at least a 4. And that looks most unlikely. They have scored 1-3 back in the 10th end, but it's been 1s and the occasional 2 to give them their 12. New Zealand scored 2 4s early, ends 3 and 4. That got them underway. And a 3 on the 14th end really put the nail in the coffin, I think, of Australia.
That really turned the game in New Zealand's favour. And the way they're playing now, they're virtually, I think we could safely say they're not going to get beaten. Just too much experience with the Thomases, and
that leading like
Geordie is
that.
just leading like an absolute dream machine.
Fine, Lewis.
Good.
Still there. Right up to it. It's okay.
So the skips have been left with a pretty open head.
Yes, Australia need to touch that kitty fairly firmly and endeavour to get it to jump to the left. Yeah, you want
Nearly.
kitty rather than the bowl to get it out to the other 3 yellows. Yes, it's quite a tricky shot. Simon was endeavouring to play under the yellows. Ball's just run away a little bit too quickly. he's got 4 bowls there, but I can't quite see how the kitty's going to be pushed over there.
Might need a jump shot.
Yes, this might just put paid to that. Yes, his only shot really is to come down on the forehand side and just squeeze kitty across to the left. Not an easy shot, but he needs to do something out of the ordinary to score a 3 or a 4.
21-12, the score to New Zealand. Only 2 ends left after this one.
Yes, you've got to come down
Yeah,
there.
that's right. That's where the
Perhaps
kitty's got to go.
off for a black bowl sitting in the front of the square, and it's possible. Certainly one point is near the eastern ornament to him.
Simon Zaporizek.
Here he goes.
Right, well, he's going to score 1.
Got the bonus of 1, but it wasn't really what he wanted.
Big smile from his partner, Cassie Walsh. Says, oh, well, we got 1 partner. That's not too bad. Might have 2, mightn't we? Don't think so. So the go here would be to take the shot bowl out, just nudge the kitty on the way by, and push the kitty into those 2 black bowls
Yes,
that are catching it.
Simon's playing these little run shots fairly well. It's,
Ooh, by that will take 1.
I think there might have been an element of luck at that one.
It wasn't exactly the way it was designed, but it had the effect.
Very good result.
1 to New Zealand on end number 19, 22-12, so they have a lead of 10. And there's only 12 shots available. 2 ends to play. New Zealand finally with the kitty in hand go short. That's been the tactic all the way. Well, they went middle really. Once again, the leads deadly accurate. Australia need something close to a perfect end here to have any hope.
Somebody didn't tell Julie Thomas about that, though.
Yeah. There's always problems.
She has bowled outstanding bowls the whole game and has set the whole game up in New Zealand's favour.
Well, there's been some terrific bowls. This is the first of 3 matches that these pairs will play, and I'm picking that it won't be 3-0.
Well, I think the spectators have been treated to some outstanding bowling here today, and this game is typical of what we're seeing. And there we go again, just absolutely perfection.
He might take his wife out to dinner tonight.
I
if
would
she's
think
lucky.
so. He's hardly worked up a sweat. The Australians have played good bowls,
Absolutely.
but have just been headed off by the New Zealand pair, simply playing extremely top bowls.
They played some very good bowls, Australia, and they're down by 10.
Yes, yes.
No justice. That's good.
Good position.
As is so often the case, option 1 there was to trail the jack. Didn't quite happen. Option 2 is just as good.
It's an interesting optical illusion, but those yellow bowls you would swear were larger than the black bowls. And you could actually make a few dollars off unsuspecting people if you put the two bowls side by side. They are in fact exactly the same, of course, and
it's an optical illusion even in real life as opposed to on the television.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
See the black and the yellow here on the left-hand side there. That yellow definitely looks bigger, but it's not. It's just that optical illusion.
With weight.
There's no illusion about the standard bowls that the Thomases are playing. They are certainly playing outstanding bowls.
I don't think there's an answer for Australia here.
No, I think it might be an early shower.
It's getting close to shake hands time. What he needs to do here is take out 3 New Zealand bowls, move the jack over to his. Was a brave effort.
Well, he's just not getting any breaks, and it's if you're playing good bowls, you generally get the good luck, and the Thomases have certainly done that. Australia have been close, but not quite close enough.
And when he gets an open opportunity like that, or when
Yes.
either of them do, they just draw it dead.
Very frustrating people to play against when they're playing as well as that.
Well, that's the last New Zealand bowl on the 20th end. They lead by 10, plus a couple on the mat. So unless Simon Zaperasek can pull off one of the miracles of all times with this bowl, this match is over. Still, it'll be great entertainment if he can do it. All the best, Simon. You need a 6. It's a great bowl. It's a great bowl, but New Zealand will still score 1. 23 points to 12 with 1 end to play. And there's no handshaking going on, so I'm assuming that because countbacks could count
Yes,
for the
I think-
entire championship, they're going to play the full 21 ends.
Right there. They're actually playing to a set of international rules that are slightly different to what our New Zealand rules say, and apparently slightly different to what the Australian rules say.
Now, it's not a big enough game, a big enough sport for 3 sets of rules, I wouldn't have thought.
Not really. It's interesting. I think it's a little bit of a compromise because Australians play on a totally different mat. Their mat is probably another 1.5 meters longer. So I think it's a compromise to make the game interesting.
Final end then of the mixed pair 6 bowl. The afternoon session of day 1 of the Henselite Trophy Test match between New Zealand and Australia. New Zealand, represented by the Thomases, Julie and Simon, lead Australia by 23 to 12. Australia are represented by this woman, Cassie Walsh, who's leading for Simon Zaperasek. 2 Tasmanians against 2 Cantabrians. And the Cantabrians are well and truly in the lead, 23 to 12. But the Tassie Tigers are a pair of good bowlers. They'll play 3 times. This is the first of those meetings. And you have to think that the Australians are better than 11 points down.
Yes, both the Australians are having their first overseas trip. So I think we'll see a bit more of these two in the future. They are both from Tasmania and obviously have a pretty good record of success over there. So I think the next couple of days we may see some very close pairs games.
Cassie Walsh with her last bowl of the match. She goes and parks it by the kitty. That'll do. That's not a bad way to finish. So they change ends. And the leads come down this end to where the head is. And the skips go down to where the bowls are, and they'll deliver their last 3 bowls each of this match. And as you would expect, Simon Thomas just changes things to his advantage as soon as he possibly can. We really are being treated as some excellent bowls. Now, in terms of what he's shown us so far, Simon Thomas, that was a shocker.
I think mentally he shut down on the last end. He's knows the game's in the bag.
But this entire championship could come down to a count back. So
Yes.
each bowl is important.
I suspect you're exactly right. That would be the only reason they're playing the extra end.
That's a good one. So Australia hold 2. Simon Thomas, his last bowl of this match. He's skipped his team to a comfortable victory. Can he finish it with an absolute screamer? Yeah. Why not?
No, played with a
Well done, my man.
ton of confidence.
Simon Zaperazek wipes his brow, says, crikey, what have I got to do?
Yes, well, if Julie doesn't get a cup of tea in bed in the morning, I'll be very surprised.
Well, of course, they've got to get up in the morning to play in the 4s tomorrow morning, each of these players. So here we are, the final bowl of the final end, and Simon Zaperazek has answered in kind, and Australia will take probably 2 actually. I'll certainly take 1. Handshakes all the way around, and New Zealand, with Australia taking a 2 on that last end. New Zealand win this one nice and comfortably by 23 to 14. It's been an excellent example of bowls. The mixed pair 6 bowl from the Henselite Trophy match, Australia against New Zealand. The New Zealanders, the Thomases, Julie and Simon, have won it by 23 to 14. Deadly bowls from the Thomases. You just didn't miss when you had to draw, either of you, did you?
No, there was the odd occasion where we were a bit slight, a bit low off the jack, but generally we drew pretty well that time.
I actually enjoyed the game. I thought it was a lot closer than the scoreboard actually would indicate. You've got to play them twice more. I've got a funny feeling you're not going to win by a dozen every time.
Yeah, it's going to be a good competition. Both of them played really well that time, and I look forward to the next couple of games.
You're in good nick. You're leading very, very well. Have you got a little groove down the mat there that the bowl rolls down, have you?
Not quite. It'd be good if I did.
Certainly looked like it. There was a couple of ends there where there was some magnificent bowls played by both of you, Skips. There was one I can remember where everything Simon did, t'other Simon just came round and knocked him out, and you in the end got 2 shots, I think, off it, and at one stage he'd had 3. It was just going hop, skip, hop, skip.
Well, that's the idea of the game. It's, a lot of occasions where the rub of the green might go a certain way, and it just happens. I mean, we're trying to get the shots. That's what we're trying to do, and so is he. So, yeah, it's just a couple of ends at the beginning that got away on him, and it was pretty much paid for it, really. Apart from that, it was fairly close.
Well, it's a good start to you guys, but 2 more, so there's a lot of work to be done yet in the next 2 days.
Certainly is, yeah. There's a lot of work to do. Good start, though, so confident, quietly confident.